Today's second video for you. First news story is from Somalia. Tomorrow on Thursday, newly elected President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud will be inaugurated. Delegations from neighboring countries are arriving in Mogadishu. Who will attend tomorrow's ceremony in Mogadishu? Who will attend from Eritrea, from Ethiopia, Djibouti, Kenya? A delegation from Ethiopia arrived in Mogadishu a few hours ago. Second news story is from Eritrea. UN Special Rapporteur on Eritrea has submitted a report about human rights situation in Eritrea and about 2% tax which Eritrean government reportedly collects. The tax is imposed on Eritrean refugees and asylum seekers who live abroad. We have details about this tax. How is it collected? Why do Eritreans, Eritrean diaspora members pay this tax to Eritrean government? A third news story is about a blow to Oromo unity. Daud Ibsa, head of Oromo Liberation Front, a political party, has written a letter to Professor Marira Gudina, who is head of Oromo Federalist Congress OFC. Jawar Bekle Garba's party. Daud Ibsa is protesting against use of OLF's flag during Jawar's appearances, his programs in Europe. Before these four news stories, we have an update for you about arrests of journalists, activists in the Amhara region. We know that thousands have been detained in the past few days and still arrests are ongoing. In a previous video 2 days ago, we reported about Meron Tadele, an activist who was detained while she was on her way to her home, and she was detained by two security officials. She was missing for around 24 hours, but now she has returned home. Reportedly, it has been now confirmed that she is back. She has returned to his house. Who arrested, who detained her, it's not clear. She is not speaking, but her family, her friends have confirmed that Meron Tadele has been released. She was not officially charged, formally arrested, but she was detained by some security officials. Three journalists were ordered to be released. A court ordered the release yesterday: Tamaskan Dasalin, Solomon Shome and Miaza Muhammad, but they have not been released so far. Police has filed an appeal which is being heard against the bail orders of a court. Now, three main news stories. First one is from Somalia, where Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud is the newly elected president of Somalia. He was elected last month, but on Thursday he will be officially inaugurated. A ceremony will be held, I think, in Mogadishu with participation of heads of neighboring countries. Who will be invited and who will attend tomorrow's inauguration ceremony? It's very important because we know that when Abdullahi Farmajo, previous president, was in power, Somalia has friendly ties with Ethiopia and Eritrea, but Somalia-Kenya, Somalia-Djibouti relations remained very strained. Now, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud's election, I think, will lead to a shift in Somalia's foreign policy. Somalia will now get close to Kenya and Djibouti, so we could see Euro Kenyatta and Ismail Omar from Djibouti attend tomorrow's inauguration ceremony of Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. Will PM Abiy attend Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud's inauguration? That remains to be seen. I remember that last year Formaggio came to Ethiopia when in October PM Abiy's government was inaugurated, but Formaggio is not the president of Somalia now. What about Eritrea? Eritrea is the only country in the region which has not congratulated to Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud so far on Hassan Sheikh's election as the president. Who will attend the ceremony in Somalia from Eritrea? And has Somalia sent an official invitation to Eritrea? It's not clear. I don't think that Isaias will be there. If an invitation has been sent, we might see a representative from Eritrea, but that remains to be seen. From Ethiopia, a delegation today arrived in Mogadishu. Delegation consists of ONLF leaders, Ogaden National Liberation Front. Abdurrahman was leading the delegation, head of this political party, opposition political party, which was an armed group. It fought for years for a separate Ogaden state. Then it abandoned armed struggle. It started political struggle, and now it's a political party. ONLF was invited by Somalia's government, and its delegation led by Abdurrahman has arrived in Mogadishu. We'll update you tomorrow about this key ceremony due to be held in Mogadishu. There is ongoing criticism as well against this ceremony, that Somalia is in the grip of a drought and millions of dollars will be spent on this ceremony. Second news story is from Eritrea. Viewers, Abdul Salam Babikar is UN's special rapporteur on Eritrea. He is not allowed to enter Eritrea. He reports about human rights situation in Eritrea, and he has submitted a report recently about human rights situation in Eritrea. And one section of this report covers a mandatory tax imposed on Eritrean refugees, Eritrean asylum seekers who are in Europe, America, other parts of the world. Eritrean government allegedly finances itself by imposing 2% tax on Eritrean diaspora community. The Eritreans, migrants, asylum seekers, refugees, they have to pay this 2% on their global income. Question is, why do they pay this tax? They fled Eritrea. They don't want to be in Eritrea, but why do they pay this 2% to Eritrean government? Abdul Salam Babikar's report states that Eritrean diaspora members are coerced into paying this tax. Otherwise, they cannot, they are not given any counselor access, any services. Sometimes these refugees, these diaspora members, they need documents, they need verifications for which they have to contact the diplomatic missions. If they don't pay the money, they are not given any services. Secondly, the report claims that their families in Eritrea are harassed, intimidated. If they don't pay the taxes, they can lose their houses, their properties in Eritrea. Their family members can be arrested. So they have to pay this 2% tax to Eritrean government. Secondly, Abdul Salam Babikar report states that in recent months, Eritrean diplomatic missions abroad raised funds for measures against COVID-19. Funds were raised in several countries of the world, transferred to Eritrean government, but no transparency where were the funds spent. And lastly, Eritrean churches abroad are also involved in fundraising, according to Abdul Salam Babikar's report. So, even after leaving Eritrea, Eritreans cannot get themselves away from the repression of the government. It seems the report is very much clear. The report recommends that host countries where these Eritrean refugees, migrants, asylum seekers live, they should support them. They demand documents, verifications for which Eritreans have to approach Eritrean diplomatic missions where they are exploited. So the report is urging Western nations, host countries, that they should help these Eritreans. They fled the repression in Eritrea, and once again the host countries refer these Eritreans to their diplomatic missions, and that is why they are exploited. Next news story is very important one, viewers. It's about splits, very obvious splits between OLF and OFC. Two main political parties in the Oromia region of Ethiopia, opposition parties, are OLF and OFC. OLF is Oromo Liberation Front, led by Daud Ibsa, and OFC is Oromo Federalist Congress, led by Professor Meron Tadele. Jawar, Beklegarba are members of OFC, Colonel Gamich Oyana, others, they are members of OLF. Both parties have been in alliance for the past 1 year or so. We have seen that these parties were under political repression. The leaders were in prison. They were mostly in agreement about their future strategies. But after the release of Jawar and Beklegarba, it seems that now splits are emerging. Though a few days ago, when Colonel Gamich Oyana was released, we saw him meet Jawar. We saw pictures of Jawar and Colonel Gamich Oyana. Now, OLF leader Daud Ibsa has written a letter to Professor Meron Tadele of OFC. The letter has been made public. It's not a secret. You can see it on your screen. The letter from Daud Ibsa to Meron Tadele. What is this letter about? Daud Ibsa is protesting against the use of OLF flag at Jawar's programs. Jawar is visiting different countries of Europe these days. He was in Germany, then in France, then he was in the Netherlands 48 hours ago. And at his programs, we have seen flags on stage. I think I mentioned in a video that the flag was OLF, OLA flag. People said, Sajid, no, it's Oromo flag. OLF now is protesting. OLF says that OFC must stop Jawar from using OLF's flag at his programs. Why is OLF protesting? Firstly, it seems that Jawar is being well received. We're seeing large crowds attending Jawar's programs in Germany, France, and Netherlands. I think this reception is not going well with OLF, firstly. Secondly, Jawar has no control over these flags. I mean, the flags were being placed, they're being hoisted by organizers. Organizers are not the political party members, OFC party members. They are diaspora community members. And we know that from OLF, from OLA, from OFC, even from PP as well, from all sections, people are attending Jawar's gatherings. But OLF wants Jawar not to use these flags. It shows that OLF is not happy with the warm welcome being received by Jawar. And secondly, Jawar used a word Durye for some groups in Valaga and Guji. And in a place we will talk about that. Durye means bandits, bullies, and some say he was referring to OLA when he said Duryes were playing with the lives of innocent people in Valaga and Guji. So, and OLF and OLA are in alliance, in agreement. They are the same, you can say. OLF is a political party, OLA is an armed wing, but both are the same. So it seems that now obvious splits are emerging between OLF, OFC and OLA. Jawar's upcoming appearance in Minneapolis, Minnesota is going to be a key one, viewers. Minneapolis, Minnesota is called Little Oromia, and large number of Oromo community members live there. Jawar has huge sport there. And in Minnesota, there Jawar and Beklegarba, they'll speak about 2018 incident when OLF surrendered and then thousands of its members were put in prison. Who was behind that incident which led to government action against OLF? So we could see serious situations at Jawar's programs in coming days. I think on the 10th of June is his next program. Will there be OLF flag at the upcoming program of Jawar? That remains to be seen. But it's a blow to Oromo unity. I always say, if you watch my videos regularly, that Oromia is not united. There are different factions. Now you see that Oromia is splitting. Jawar on one side, then OLF and OLA on the other, PP on other side. So Oromia, a large region, it's not united. There is tug of war among different groups in the Oromia. Thank you.